Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to the first ever Rings of Rebellion, a Rings of Power podcast. Screw Star Wars, today it's all about Rings of Power. No, I'm just joking. We're still a Star Wars podcast, Radio Rebellion. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon. You can see I'm a little pumped about Rings of Power, but we'll get to that at some point. Our co-host is here. Oti, how you doing today?
I just realized I can't head back like I was 15.
I don't even try anymore. So,
oh my god!
You gotta compose yourself now. Make sure everything's back in its place.
The next Metallica concert, I'm just gonna like sit behind.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm driving and I have some heavy metal going on, I try to do it. No, that's okay.
No, I tried doing it now, and oh my god, no.
Yeah, that's for the younger us, years and years ago. But Oti, it's been a week for fandom. A lot of stuff going on. Next week, D23 and Disney Plus Day, we are getting the Kenobi documentary, at least next week, so we can talk about that a little bit afterwards. Apart from that, we don't have a lot of idea what might happen in D23 and Disney Plus Day for Star Wars, so it'll be a little bit of a surprise. I'm going with zero expectations, especially after last year. I'm pretty sure you're the same, but how are you feeling for that coming up next week?
I am not feeling nothing. I am, yeah. Hey, if I don't know if Patty Jenkins is there, cool. If not, cool. Like, yeah, I have no stock whatsoever.
I mean, Ryan Johnson. Go ahead.
Looking forward for that documentary, though. Very much looking forward to it.
Why didn't they call this Disney Gallery? Obi-Wan Kenobi just a documentaries. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird, but man, I love those shots where they're watching clips in the volume.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's a good use for the volume.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're joining us today for the first time, as always, thanks for being here. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our new episodes when they drop. Leave us a comment down below and make sure to give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And if you're not, then just move along. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, wherever you listen to it, just give us a little rating and review. It's always nice reading those. And you know the rest. Amidala Initiative for Equality Texas and the National Network of Abortion Fund and the What Choice fundraiser. Everything's still going on. Links down in the description of the video. So as always, like I said, help us you can. If you can donate. If you can retweet, pass the voice, get educated, do all that stuff.
Vote.
And vote. It's coming. It's getting close. It's very important.
Yes.
All right. So I know. Let's go ahead. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's talk Star Wars. And even though it wasn't on our kind of itinerary, let's do a little bit of Star Wars news. Just to say we did Star Wars news. And where's my thing? Star Wars news.
Star Wars news.
There you go. I know you love that.
Star Wars news.
No, so we already talked a little bit about D23, the documentary and all that. But I think that it's not even news, but we'll mention it. Ryan Johnson just did an interview for his new movie that's coming out, the sequel to Knives Out, Glass Onion, and he talked a lot about The Last Jedi 5-year anniversary. You love that movie. I'm a little bit lukewarm on it, but I'm hoping that he gets his chance for that trilogy we talked about here. I kind of said, if they don't announce something soon, it's not happening. You said, I still love in Star Wars, it's going to happen.
I've always said the same thing. George spent like 16 years saying, yeah, I'm making the prequels. And he made them. So apparently we're in the same territory again.
Yeah, but here we got it. He said it. He said, I still want to do them. It will be a shame if I don't get to do them. I'm doing something right now. I've talked to Kathy Kennedy a bunch of times. So I think it's going to happen eventually.
Both parties want it. And I think this is like the clearest he's been, because he always said like, no, I'm still cracking the story, but now he's like, no, it'd be a shame if I didn't do it. So, by the way, shout out to to Alden Diaz, who's getting to interview him for
Yeah.
the Podathon. I'm dying to see if he's gonna ask him something about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know if he'll be directly, but he'll be there talking about the Last Jedi. So hopefully we get some more information in 2 weeks. That drops in 2 weeks. And I think it's obvious now that it's gonna be after, if he does them, it'll be after the Knives Out trilogy is finished. Yes, Glass Onion I think comes out this Christmas or in December, and then the next one, let's say 2 years from now, and then maybe he can start on his Star Wars, and that's
I'd
fine. Just give him.
say, yeah. I don't know. I don't know when he's gonna get the time, but I mean, it's fine as long as it's good.
And that's the thing, because you have half of the, I don't know percentages, but let's say half of the fandom very excited to get it. If you love Last Jedi, of course you want him to do more. The people that really didn't like Last Jedi, mostly because of the Luke Skywalker stuff, they're like keeping as far away as possible. I'm in the middle because I enjoy The Last Jedi. It's not my favorite, but I love everything that happened with Luke. So, but I want him to then just do his own stuff, just characters that he creates, nothing to do with legacy characters. Just let him do everything, and I'm fine. And then, yeah, he's a great filmmaker, writer, director. I'll take it.
I don't know quite how things work at Lucasfilm, but I think it would also be interesting if he did like non-Star Wars thing with Lucasfilm.
Oh,
Like
sure.
maybe have them produce, because from what we know, they love him over there.
Yeah.
they loved working with him. So let's see. Again, if they want him to do it and he wants to do it, I don't see why not. Ryan, regardless of what you think of Last Jedi, he's really one of the most interesting filmmakers right now. He likes to play with genres. He likes to dissect them and rip them open. So I don't know. I don't know if like do you think, are you interested in seeing him do something new in Star Wars?
Yes. If you know me, I want to move away from what we know in Star Wars. I
I
love
think he
everything.
does too.
Yeah. Just let him do something else. If he has full control, and by full control I mean he gets to write and direct all 3 movies or 2 or whatever he's gonna make, then yes, I have full confidence that he's gonna give us a great series. But nothing to do with the characters that we already know. I don't want him to have to, I don't know, not backtrack, but okay, let's do something in that between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. No, give me something. Go to another corner of the galaxy if you want, but I don't. Yes, I want to see it, but just do your own stuff.
I'm holding back laughter because you just said the whole Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens thing, and here I'm thinking like like the chaos side in me is thinking like, could you imagine? Him and Mark are buddies. If Mark is like, dude, please make a Luke Skywalker movie. Can you imagine the outrage of Ryan Johnson is the one who's gonna tell that story?
How Luke got stuck in Acto.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll be honest. Again, I love everything that happened with Luke. To me, it makes sense that he ended up in Acto for that reason. Even I'm pretty sure that's not what J.J. Abrams had intended when he put him in that island.
I mean, but for all we know, Grumpy Luke was always like in the plans. I mean, I always go back to that scene in Force Awakens. He doesn't seem happy to see Rey because he's like,
no. Yeah, the thing for me is, why is he in his Jedi regalia all formal if he doesn't want to be a Jedi? That's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But he puts it on then just to go burn that tree. It's like, if I'm gonna burn the Jedi, I'm gonna do it dressed as a Jedi. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's in the script, but in the book, when Rey shows up, he was gonna burn the tree at that moment. So
okay.
I don't know. I think that's a very Luke thing. Like, I'm gonna destroy the Jedi while being dressed as a Jedi.
Every Saturday he goes up to that tree. Next week, I'll get you next week.
Yeah, and when he's gonna burn the tree, I'm gonna burn it. No, I'm not.
yeah. Damn wind just blew it off again. But yeah, I'm here for a Ryan Johnson Star Wars trilogy, but not connected to what we know at the moment.
Yeah, no. If I had a say in this, yeah, just something different.
Yeah. All right, so it's been 10 minutes. I think it's time we jump into our main story for today, one of our stories, and
The
it's our
ships.
favorite Star Wars ships.
That's a weird story.
It was a lot longer than I remember when I did it. But
It was on. It was on. But that was cool.
I apologize to everyone listening on the audio podcast who don't know what just happened, but go to the video, you'll see all the starship just flying in slow motion in the screen. All right, Ate, this is a topic that I've been thinking about probably for about 2 seasons now. That I should do something. I'm talking about our favorite starships in Star Wars, so just something starships, and then it always kind of get pushed behind. And then last week we just kind of blurted it out, and here
You
we are.
did.
Yeah, talking
I
about
just want to keep saying favorite ships just to see if RSO, Candace,
yeah, they'll
everybody
just
shows
show
up.
up. Who mentioned ships? And I think I just said favorite ships when I did the intro. Favorite
I pushed you to
starships.
say it.
You did it. See, it's getting in the subconscious. They'll get here eventually. Um, so Star Wars and starships, it's almost like lightsabers. We need to see what the new starships are, the new versions of X-wing, what type of Tie Fighter we're getting, what's going to be the main ship for our main characters, the Ghost, the Falcon, all that. But what makes a great Star Wars starship for you?
I don't know, man. Because even my favorite chips, they're my favorite for different reasons. Some is the design, some is maybe like the legacy of that
Yeah.
ship, some the noise it makes, the how the blasters sound. So I don't know, like, and that's something like very interesting because I remember when Force Awakens came out, my dad said like after the movie, he's like, "This is a Star Wars movie. X-wings, Tie fighters, the
Yeah.
Falcon." Because at that time we were still in the prequel suck,
Mhm.
but now the N1 Naboo starfighter is iconic. The Jedi starfighter is iconic. So I don't know what makes a good ship, man. Like I don't know. That's a great question that I
Yeah.
don't have the answer to.
Man, you're a great co-host. You just move the story the way I want to go. It's hard. It's a difficult question. We all have different reasons why we love starships in Star Wars, and we're gonna find out. Some of my favorite might be some of your most overrated, or vice versa. Before we
I,
started, you said you had some controversial picks. I might have some.
I have one that I'm just waiting for people to come to my Twitter and say like you're a fake fan because I've
Oh
never liked
man,
that ship.
and I'm looking at one that I'm sure people will say the same about me.
Let's
It'll
see.
be
Let's
fun
see.
if it's the same one. I doubt it, but it'll be
I
fun.
doubt it. I really
Yeah.
doubt it.
But I think it is legacy, of course. It's like the Millennium Falcon. Everyone knows. No one hates the Millennium Falcon. I haven't heard anyone say something or anything bad about the Falcon.
Nope.
Maybe when the first images for Solo came out and they saw the Lando version, like, what the hell did they do to the Falcons? Like, dude, just wait.
And now I love that. I was one of the people who was like, what is this? And now
It's nice.
I love like both versions of the Falcon.
Yeah, and the interior with the white and the yellow accents is nice. But yeah, I think sound, like the sound they make, is very important. But it all comes down to design, at least for me. And there's something
Okay.
that I really like in ships in general, and that I think that's one of the reasons I picked some of these.
Okay.
So I think the way we're gonna do this, we'll do our three favorite starships, then we'll do three underrated, and then three overrated.
Okay.
The overrated might have some controversy around it, and I'm gonna throw a wrench into our favorite discussion, which I didn't tell you before, and this is nothing weird. When you say your favorites, can you, if you know, what was kind of your favorite moment for that ship? What kind of made you decide?
Okay.
All right. So if you do, you want to start this round or want me to start?
I can start.
All right. So you say one, then I'll do one, and we'll go back and forth.
These are in order, by the way. Like I usually no, they're not. These are in order.
Okay.
So the first ship I have is the TIE Fighter.
Okay. And this is your number three.
My number three, yes.
Okay.
I talked about sound. I'm a sucker for that TIE fighter roar. Like
Yeah.
I remember watching those Force Awakens trailer. I think the last one you kind of hear it in the background. Just gave me chills. And when I went to see that movie, that scene when they hijacked the TIE fighter and you're just like, they're following it. There's like a TIE fighter on TIE fighter chase. I just love that ship, and it's purely because of the noise. Like that's like, and it's cool, like the
Yeah.
solar panels and the pod in the middle, but I'm just like enamored with how that ship sounds.
I mean, the sound is iconic. It's the first thing that people say when I love the TIE fighter is because of the sound. And I agree. The sound, it's, what's
Yeah,
coming.
it's like the one I mean, it's not the one ship, but it's like, I think it's the most iconic sound of a ship. Thinking on Endor, Yavin, Starkiller Base, everything.
Yeah.
Like it's so present in what the Star Wars space combat is. And for me, I agree with my dad. A TIE fighter makes a Star Wars movie.
Do you have a favorite version of that
Yes,
TIE fighter? Because
yes.
there's like 37.
I'm in love with the I don't know the name, the First Order one with the black and the red thing.
The Special Forces, I think. First Order Special Forces.
And like the standard one with
Mhm.
the straight panels, not I think it's TIE Defender.
Again.
But yeah, I just love a TIE fighter.
Yeah, TIE fighter, and I'm not gonna spoil my rankings, but if I had to choose one, I would go with the First Order Special Forces, that black one with the red stripe.
Yeah.
Same with the pilots. Yeah, that design is great.
And you know what? I love tattoos. I adore tattoos, but I don't have one, and I don't think I'll ever get one. But I've always had a dream of just doing like a TIE fighter on my arm.
Yeah.
I just love that shit.
Do you have? I know you mentioned the scene in The Force Awakens. Do you have a favorite scene with TIE fighters? That kind of that's the one that.
I always go back, maybe even in Mass's Castle, but it just takes me back to that first viewing of Force Awakens and feeling like we're back. We're back in Star Wars. So yeah, maybe that first scene when they hijack it in Force Awakens,
which is a great scene. It's also kind of
it's a very fun scene.
That kind of the movie picks up at that point.
And you know what? Even that shot with the TIE fighter crashed in the sand.
Oh yeah.
I had that as my computer wallpaper for a while.
Yeah, that's a great one. That chase is just so awesome. Fire ventral cannons. All right, so I'll go with my number 3. I think this is in order now. And it's the Fire Spray, also known as Slave One or Boba Fett Starship, depending where you want to go.
Okay.
But I have to go with it. And we're talking now, this is a sentimental pick, I think. Again, Boba Fett is my favorite character. So I got to go with his ship. I got some keychain somewhere back there. But yeah, Slave One, and the more we learn about that ship, the cooler it gets. The little bits that we got on it in Mandalorian Season 2 and then in Book of Boba Fett just kind of cemented that as an iconic ship, which also has an iconic, not as iconic as a TIE fighter, but it has a certain hum of the engines that you can, wait, I've heard that before. And then, okay, that's Slave One.
And dude, seismic charges, like.
Let me get there. But yes, seismic charges. Come on, you're talking about sounds in Star Wars. Nothing is better than the seismic charge, and that then takes me to my favorite use of the Slave One. Of my favorites, I love the part in Book of Boba Fett when he's just gunning down all those Nikto riders. But I have to go with Attack of the Clones and just that chase with Obi-Wan through the asteroid field. And when we first got the seismic charges, like, oh my God, this is awesome.
And you know what? One of the things I mentioned, like, I think the Slave One's cannons, the blasters, they're also iconic because they sound like hard, like.
It's not the little photon cannons or whatever they have. It's so Slave One, and now we see how it works on the inside because you're upside down, then the ball rotates. Come on, you can. And then it has three names because people get offended. So, and I
Fire
love
spray is
I
like
love Fire
one.
Spray. Fire Spray is a great name for a starship, so I'll call it the Fire Spray.
Yeah.
And I don't, for some reason, being it when it was still called Slave One, or you can still call it Slave One, is why the one at the end? And every time I was doing something or writing something or whatever, I had another name, but it always ended in one. That's my homage for this. I had for my sci-fi story. There's a ship called the Nemesis, and it was the Nemesis
This is
One.
one.
Yeah. So Boba Fett. There you go. All right. So what's your number two?
My number two. So I don't know. I saw it in Wikipedia, but I don't know how to pronounce it. So I'll just say it's. I think it's called the Gauntlet, and it's the Mandalorian fighter.
Yes.
I love that ship, and I'll go straight to my favorite thing about that ship, and was seeing it in Mando season 2 finale when they get to a bar and it's parked. Just seeing it parked, like it's in live action. I just that ship, and that's just purely on cool factor because, and it's the whole thing, like the thing that the flaps just go up. I love that ship. You know, Bo-Katan drives one, and she's cool. And so this number two is just purely on cool. And I just want to see like a Mandalorian live action fight with, as we see X-Wings, but just with the Gauntlet ship or Mandalorian Starfighter or whatever.
Yeah. So it's the RK class fighter. And I know it because I had it for my underrated. I was going to put it there. It didn't make the list because it's so difficult, just choosing three. But yes, the gauntlet, come on, design that. Oh man, you're right. When I saw it in Book of Boba Fett and in Clone Wars, but saying live action, it's like, oh my goodness, that ship is great. It's awesome. I want one. Please give us more.
I remember when Bo-Katan showed up in Mando, I was like, oh, I love seeing her and, Katie Sackhoff. But I wanted to see a ship. And when they go to see her and that ship is parked, I was like,
There it is. Yeah, because I remember seeing it in Rebels in season 7 when she shows up. We got it. Oh man, I want to get more inside that ship, and then seeing it there, even parked in the back, it's like with the Slave One next to it. It's like, oh my goodness.
Even for a starfighter, it's like big. It's like I think it's like a one-man ship, or not. It's not like the Falcon, for example. It's a freighter. But it's a big ship.
Yeah. I guess two people, because Koska Reese was with her, so maybe.
And then Ahsoka gets in. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, give us more. Come on, in Ahsoka, Bo-Katan is gonna be not in. We can get in Ahsoka, but in Mando season 3 has to be.
Just imagine TIE fighters versus the Mandalorian Gauntlet. Against Thrawn or something.
That would be awesome. I thought that Din Djarin might get one when the Razor Crest blew up, but didn't get it. That's a good pick. I'll give you that one. That's a good one. All right, number 2, and I'll say my top 2 are pretty vanilla. These are nothing surprising, but it's the Millennium Falcon.
Okay, that's my number 1, so I can talk about it.
Yeah, okay. So you can go wrong with the Millennium Falcon. You're talking Star Wars. You're talking a ship that has its own theme music. Come on, you can't beat that. So why does Han says we're home? Because he's in the Falcon. Everyone wants the Millennium Falcon, the ship that made the Kessel Run. Lando had it all spruced up. Then Han Solo got it beat up. It doesn't matter. Everyone wants it. Even Jakku has it there in the junkyard. So yeah, the Falcon is one of the best ships out there. And for scenes, I gotta go with The Force Awakens. Just seeing it there, the garbage will do. And I said it here, that's when this became a Star Wars movie for me. Was seeing the Falcon there. The garbage will do. It's always a piece of garbage, but it always comes through. So that's my number 2. You just said it's your number 1.
It's my number 1. I know you don't like when I spoil it ahead, but like I just tie it in together.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's my favorite ship. When I get to the apartment, you guys are gonna see it. It's gonna be, I have my Hasbro one from Power of the Force. It's gonna be behind my desk. It's my favorite ship of all time. Like I just adore it. It's It's almost a character in the movies, even in Empire Strikes Back. It keeps
Mhm.
breaking down, it keeps making everything difficult for everyone. And the noise, that engine, it's
Yeah.
powerful, and of course the cannons from the turrets, the sound is also iconic. But favorite scenes, you know, we gotta. I'm going to Force Awakens, but even before Force Awakens, that Thanksgiving Day trailer,
Okay.
the dark side and the light, screen goes black, and just that theme kicks in, and the
Mhm.
that God bless J.J. Abrams. I know people have opinions. That shot, the camera's like, it's CGI, but the camera is basically like on the back of the ship, and
Yeah.
the whole. I spent so much time recreating that in Battlefront.
Mhm.
Just like I just adore that ship so
That
much.
scene, that whole Starship.
It's like an infomercial for the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, seeing that in the Thanksgiving Day trailer, and I know people love the main trailer, but I prefer this one. That shot, and then seeing it coming to you with the TIE fighters behind it. No, great. I remember seeing a video that someone kind of changed the way it moved because it moves kind of weird. They just did it
I
the correct
love,
way, and okay, it's cool, but
I love
no,
how
it
it
has to be
moves.
the
I
JJ
love,
way.
yeah, how the wind like breaks on this shit.
Yeah, it
I get
just
giddy.
crashing against the sand because you can't get it back. Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah. Millennium Falcon, my number two, your number one, and probably a lot of people's favorite. A lot of people favorite ship. All right, so my favorite one, I guess, again, I say it was a pretty easy pick, vanilla pick, but there's something about this ship. Every time it comes on screen, I become a little kid, and it's the X-wing. I'm an X-wing
Mm.
fan. That's the best ship ever created, and I grew up in the 80s when the F-14 Tomcat and Top Gun came out, and just seeing the wings move backwards and forwards was the coolest thing. So put S-foils in attack position, and then I just said, that's it. I don't need anything else. That's my favorite ship. When it showed up in Mandalorian the first time in season 2, I died. It's, again, they look great. CGI will look like models. So the X-Wing is my favorite ship, and for favorite moments, it has to be the Battle of Yavin when they start kind of turning towards the Death Star, because you hear also parts of the Jedi theme when it's going to attack, which I love. And then also I gotta go back to Force Awakens to tackle Lana when they're just going over the water to join the fight. That scene was just awesome.
Yeah. JJ loves to see the X-wings in like
Hmm.
real, like not in
Yeah, in the
space.
atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna like give a brief spoiler getting ahead of myself. I was gonna put it in my overrated list, but I just couldn't because it's freaking X-wing.
Yeah,
Like that's the
that's
ship
the
of Star
point.
Wars. Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, they're basic. They are like mainstream, I guess, but there's a reason for it. Like
There's a reason something becomes a cliche. It's a
yeah,
cliche for a
no,
reason. On
totally agree.
X-wings,
It's practical. It's
you got your little droid in the back helping you
yeah,
out. I'll say
yeah.
I didn't like the orange one in Rise of Skywalker. It's like,
JJ, I love the black one. The
come on, black one is probably the
that's
best one.
Ryan. Why would you destroy
I'll
that?
say, dude,
Out
kill
of all
Luke
the ships,
Skywalker. Don't kill the X-wing. Luke Skywalker is fine, but the
why don't
X-wing,
you destroy any other ship in the hangar? Why did it have to be that one?
Paul, just get some spray paint and paint the other one. I'm sure.
Yeah,
But even the Luke Skywalker one with the little red stripes and the blue, come on, X-wings all the way. X-wings, my
yeah.
favorite starship. It won't change. All right, so this is where we get to plead our case for. Come on, people, you should love these ships more. Let's talk about some of the underrated. And you don't need to give us your favorite moment of this ship. Just
Okay.
underrated. I'll start because you started the first round, and I don't know the order. The first one, yes, that's my most underrated. But I'll start with the Jedi Starfighter. I think it's underrated.
That's my number three.
And sorry,
That's my number three.
and you go again. We're getting too similar. I know there's two versions. Do you prefer the Attack of the Clones kind of spear version or the one that
No,
looks like a TIE fighter?
that one that looks like a TIE fighter.
I was debating. I couldn't go.
Okay.
But I love the Attack of the Clones one because it has the ring, the hyperspace
Mhm.
ring. That's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
that's cool. That's cool.
But I was looking at pictures of I think it's the Delta version or something like that, or maybe the other ones, the Delta Starfighter fighter. It's just freaking cool, especially seeing it on Revenge of the Sith. Oh man,
Uh,
it's awesome.
we're not gonna say favorite scenes, but it has to be that one.
Come on,
Like,
the
it
best
has to
start, the best intro in all of Star Wars with those
be.
two
Yeah,
ships.
yeah. I know. I'll debate you on which one's the best intro of Star Wars, but okay. um,
Okay, let me write down our next topic. Best intros.
best intros, ranking of the intros.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a great ship, and for underrated, it's weird because I don't think there's one that like I've seen people hate on that. I'm like, no, it's a great ship. So I'm just going with ships that we don't see as
Yeah.
much or we don't get as much love for.
Mhm.
And the Jedi Starfighter, we need more of it. Like, and it's weird because of course it's just so much about that era.
Yeah.
And going back to Attack of the Clones, they have another one. So even if you do like a High Republic coaster to Force Awakens, it's not gonna be that ship. But I don't know. It'd be cool to see Cal get one for in a Survivor or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I
We
was
can
on
see
Survivor.
maybe there might still be some during the Bad Batch era. They didn't destroy all of them. Some of
Yeah,
those Jedi that survived maybe took one with them.
yeah, yeah. No, I love the Jedi Starfighter.
Both versions. I think both versions are. It's like trying to say which version of the Clone Troopers is your favorite. Version one or two? I don't know. I like one now. I used to love two. I like one. I think the little
Okay.
crest in the middle. But it doesn't matter. We'll see them in Andor. I think we'll get in them in Andor at least once.
Okay.
All right, so I'll keep going. So my number two, and I same as you, I don't think that people hate on Star Wars ships, but yeah, either we don't get enough or we don't talk about them enough. And I'll say the first light, Dryden Voss yacht. Come on,
That's a
that
cool one.
that's a, and I was just looking at Starships this morning because I hadn't done my job in getting ready for the show, and this one came up, and of course, Dryden Voss, you want a party? You go there. You have your own
And yeah,
people. You got your singer. You got your security there. First light.
Kira goes to Dathomir on that ship, right?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. Because I was gonna say like, does that go into space? But yeah, it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's went like to 3 planets in Solo. Of course, it goes
Yeah,
into
yeah,
space.
it's true. It's true. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great ship. One of the things I didn't like, Canto Bight. I'm kind of about Canto Bight, especially the casino scene. It doesn't look like a Star Wars kind of party. This was a party in the first light. You have Imperials, you got
Yeah.
bounty hunters, you got everyone there having a fun time, not caring about what's going on. I know they're two different atmospheres, but come on, that ship, that's a quality ship, like
That's
Lando would say.
a quality ship. I totally
All
agree.
right, what's your number two?
My number two is a ship that I have it underrated because I know there's a big chunk of the fandom that does not know about the ship, and we have not seen it in live action, but we will someday. And it's the Jedi Vectors from Star Wars: The High
Okay.
Republic.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen is just like picture concept art, and it looks cool. But man, we all want to see a Jedi board that ship and have to stick their lightsaber
Yeah.
inside the thing. Yeah, it's a cool design. I got my cousin to start reading High
Oh, nice.
Republic, and he called me somewhere between Light of the Jedi, and he's like, "Dude, have we seen those vectors before?" And I'm like, "No." I was like, "Oh, I thought we had seen them in Clone Wars or something." I was gonna ask you the episode because I now want to see them, and they're cool. They sound cool from what we've
Mhm.
read. So I'm hoping maybe in the Acolyte we might get something since we're gonna get Jedi.
Yeah, hopefully. I think, like you said, the coolest thing about the vectors is how they work. And that you
Yeah.
need to put your lightsaber in, how important that is that you're using your lightsaber. Even the weapons are powered by it. So
Yeah.
if you're going to shoot it, it's because it's important. Yeah, and the concept art looks great. They're kind of weird, slender.
Yeah, they
Just
have
one.
like long blasters.
And you can have your dog inside because we know
Yeah.
Amber goes in with Belle, so at least there's a little bit of space
It's
for your
pet
dog.
friendly. It's not that practical because if there's an emergency and you don't have a lightsaber, you're screwed. But
But
yeah,
that's the reason. Then no one can steal it and
the only
infiltrate your
Star
base.
Wars vectors I like.
Every time now, every time I hear vectors, now I go
Because
into how much you hate
if it's a Timothy Zahn vector, I'm out.
it. So if we get a Star Wars High Republic show written by Timothy Zahn, and he said we're gonna get vectors, you
We're
don't
gonna
know
get
where you.
vectors following vectors,
Oh my goodness,
and the
no!
vectors vector.
Then because like Airplane the movie, Roger, Roger. All right, so here we go. Oh no, we're still on underrated. Okay, so my
Yeah.
number one underrated is the U-wing.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say mine. Okay, the U wing.
The U-wing is something kids.
Okay.
Someone maybe just broke their head, and I don't know. Hopefully not. So it's the U-wing. For same reason that I said I kind of love the X-wing, how the wings move up and down. The U-wing having those two versions for attack, for support. They're great for support. You can take your whole team with you. They look awesome. They don't have a sound,
No,
unfortunately, but just the design. The
they're
design of
also
the
a quick boy.
U-wing, I love it, and I wish we get more of it. Well, yeah, that U-wing is my most underrated ship. No one talks about the U-wings. They were very important in the rebellion, and they were just forgotten. So that's my number one most underrated starship.
Is Rogue One the first time we see a U wing? I'm
Yeah,
usually so bad at this. Okay, yeah, we need more U wings. Like that's a cool ship. It fits a Alpini with the turret. Like
yeah, yeah.
just
You
give it to me.
can, yeah, yes, come on, give
That's a
us
cool ship.
something.
And Battlefront, they're like awkward because they're very big, but they're
Mhm.
cool. They're like a support ship.
Yeah. Plus, we get them in Alphabet Squadron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you. All right, what's your number one?
My number one is also part of the Alphabet Squadron, and
Hmm.
it's an A wing. I think A wings are very underrated, honestly,
Yes.
because they're like the little brother to the big player, the X wing. But A wings are fast. They're efficient. You can get in and out very
Mhm.
quickly. And my Star Wars sequel treatment started with like a secret mission on A wings
Yeah.
because they were fast and small. And I really like the A wing. A lot of it comes down to playing it in in Battlefront because it's a very fast ship, and it's Tally Lantra's ship,
Yeah.
so it has to be good. It has to be.
Yeah, A-wing, kind of like you said, that step brother of the letter starships. People don't talk about it. They're very resilient because
Yeah.
poor Will Law gets bumped up and upside the head like 300 times. There's duct tape around that ship. Every time he thinks it's gonna break, he's sweating inside the ship and it's still working.
Yeah.
And yeah, seeing it in Last Jedi was pretty cool. But we need more. We need more A-wings
need
in
more.
live action and to
Yeah,
survive longer.
we need a hero in an A wing. We got Tally Lantra, but she died very quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Let's see
we
what
need a
Will
hero.
like.
Yeah.
All right, here's when it's gonna get interesting.
Mm.
Overrated. And I'm surprised
Overrated.
there's one ship we haven't mentioned, which again is difficult just doing a three favorite ones, but I'm afraid. And you said you only have two for
I
your
only have two
overrated.
because what I mentioned. I was gonna put the X-wing in, but it didn't feel right.
Okay.
And this is my caveat. There's not a ship in Star Wars I don't like. I like them all. I think they're all very interesting. But I'm picking these two just to pick something.
All right, so I'll say I have three, but my third one was just to complete the ranking.
Okay.
I don't think it's overrated. I just had to put one. I'm gonna start with this one just because it's kind of an honorable mention.
Wait. Dale's here.
Oh, Dale, forgive me, Masters. I was working the hot song. Look, Dale, thanks for being here, and don't get too burned out. I know it's extremely hot everywhere, so you gotta be careful.
Random. It hasn't been that hot over here. It
Yeah,
hasn't stopped raining though.
yeah, here it's hot. It's not as hot as it's usually get right now in Florida, but I know the West Coast is suffering a lot. So,
Okay.
and I'll highlight this comment. It was from yesterday. Jay jumped in. Jay Pylon. He just put Starships. Let's go. he was gonna talk about Battlestar Galactica. That's probably why he didn't come back today.
Okay.
All right, so my kind of mention overrated, and you're gonna hate me right now, is the TIE Fighter. And it's too many versions. Just pick one. There's like 300 TIE Fighters. Just pick one. It's
I have one that's gonna upset you, so go ahead.
I'm sure, but we got the TIE Fighter, the TIE Bomber, the Striker, the Tri-Wing. Just pick a design or change the name. Just
Okay.
But I love the TIE Fighter, the original one. Just give me the basic one. Because I don't need a new version every 10 seconds.
Okay.
And Thrawn, sorry, you lost. They went with the Death Star. You gotta suck it up.
It's true.
All right, so what's your number 2?
Actually, my number 2, it's kind of tied to yours. This one's kind of petty on my part. But it's a TIE Marauder. That's the ship Colin Trevorrow had designed. He made it with his son.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a fine ship, but it's more on the line of like when people saw it, we almost got that ship, and
Yeah.
JJ took it over. Okay, it's just another version of the same ship.
Yeah.
We've already gotten. Like, it's okay, sure.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I'm trying to even remember what it looked like.
It kind of looked like the skiffs in not the skiffs, the speeders in Crate.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it real quick.
Yeah, it's because it's like a little bit clumsy, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
everyone being clumsy.
I'm sure Colin Trevorrow and his son put a lot of
No.
effort into it.
Yeah,
into the design.
no, come on, no, I don't like that. I'm gonna say it sucks. It sucks. No.
You know what? If it came on in the movie, I probably would have been like, oh, okay, a new one. But
we'll probably, I don't know, it'll move like the B-Wing, maybe
it's like a little, I'm a person who gets very dizzy. So like seeing it spin would have been horrible for me.
Yeah.
But it's more on the reaction we got when people saw it. Like,
no,
the Rise of Skywalker would have been like 10 times better.
I hate that now. And again, John Boyega can say whatever he wants about his experience doing this movie. He's entitled to everything he's saying. But now he mentioned that that he read the Duel of the Fates script and he can't read it anymore because tears to his eyes how great that was. And then we get the conversation again. We should have gotten this. No, we shouldn't.
I will say it's a better story for Finn.
Yes, on paper, some of it.
It's a better story for Finn, definitely.
And I agree that give me the Stormtrooper Rebellion instead of you're a general now and then just throw some bombs on them.
You may or may not be force sensitive. We don't know. We'll figure it out.
Whatever. But everything else, bringing another big bad that we haven't heard.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I am not a fan of that script. Like
me neither. Again, if you go, our very first episode was talking about that script,
and I read it before I made my big piece with Rise of Skywalker. Like I was telling I don't know how I feel about this movie when I read it. I think it helped me like it even more.
It's a good one.
I'll just say I'm just not a fan of Colin Trevorrow as a director, and
he's going down the. I don't know, just trying kind of just went like this, and then everything is.
Yeah, I don't know him. I don't know if he's a good guy or not. He doesn't have to be a fan of me as an accountant, but like I don't know.
Come on, he was calling you right now for his taxes.
Nah.
Man, and then Jurassic World Dominion didn't help his cause. But now you can see the extra version.
Let's move on because if I start talking Jurassic World, we're not ever gonna end because I have a lot to say, and I've done episodes on it, and I still have a lot to say.
All right, we won't. Maybe on another day on World Between Fandoms, we'll talk about dinosaurs, but not today. All right. So,
but by the way, Jurassic World, J.A. Bayona did Fallen Kingdom. He's doing. I want to talk about that when we get there. All
right, we're almost there. All right, here we come. I'm gonna apologize to people in the chat, everyone watching or listening to this later, and I apologize to you maybe because I don't know your stance, but
I'm dying to know.
N1 Naboo Starfighter. It's overrated. The only version I like is the Mandalorian one. I don't didn't like it when it came out. I mean, again, like you said, I don't hate it, but I don't know
Mhm.
why people love this ship so much. It's a yellow banana with some silver rings. I don't, I don't know. Does nothing for me. The N1, whatever. I got nostalgic when I saw it in Book of Boba Fett, but I didn't. Oh my god, I'm crying now. It's my hole. Eh, it's a
Yeah,
ship which I don't particularly like.
I don't agree with you, but I there's a lot of love for that ship,
I
and
know, and that's why it's overrated. So it shouldn't
I
have that much love.
I get a lot of nostalgia for it because I saw Phantom Menace when I was 6, but I don't have that thing that that was the first Starship space battle I ever
Mhm.
saw because I had already seen Star Wars a bunch of times, so I already loved X Wings and Tie Fighters, and I was actually kind of weirded out. What's that ship?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where's the X Wing? But I don't agree with you. I love the number one Starfighter. I think it's a nice ship. It's elegant and it's very much an Naboo ship.
I prefer. Give me the other one. I almost wrote
Oh,
it down.
it's like a little bit bigger.
No, not just the Naboo cruiser that she has in episode one. In episode two, when she's
The
going to
one in the
Coruscant,
beginning.
yeah, that's a quality ship. But the
That's a
Naboo
quality
one,
ship, and that's a great first sequence.
it is
The
visually it's pretty.
lighting and
Yeah,
the
I mean, we gotta do a show about it. But yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, it's a prequel, baby. So everyone that grew up on the prequels, it's not that
I
great a ship. It
I
is
I agree
overrated.
with you only in the sense that I don't know what people like love so much about it, but I think it's a very nice ship.
It is nice. Also overrated. All right, it's my turn to be offended. What's your number two? No, you already said your number two. So what's your
Yeah,
number one? Oh my god, I'm
my number one ship is a ship that everyone has always loved.
I
And I always looked at it and I was like, it looks ugly. It looks kind of looks like a stapler or
Ooh.
and it's this fire spray. I've never liked that ship. I think it's yeah, just kick me out. I'll kick myself out.
I'm leaving.
So I,
Now, all you.
I don't know, man. I yeah, I've always told you I've never loved Boba Fett. I okay, well, no, this is
It's so weird. I could,
no.
I can
Here
just,
we
can I just move it? But
go.
anyway, go ahead.
You know what? I've never loved Boba Fett, so I've never had any attachment to that ship. The only thing I liked about it was that scene in Attack of the Clones. So everyone had the toy from Power of the Force, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, look what I got. I was like, I got a Millennium Falcon back home. It's fine. So I don't know. I've never loved it.
All right, let's move on. So my number one pick. Come on. No, I agree. I agree
Alberto's
that
always like, no, please don't get offended. And the minute he gets offended, like, no, it's over.
it's over. I can't kick you out anymore because you can just jump back in because you have co-host power now. So I
I've been
can't
kicked
kick you
out
out.
so much. I've been kicked out so many times.
I know. I don't know. It's like those people that you keep inviting to parties when you know something's gonna happen. Why do you keep
I,
inviting him? You didn't even like him. Oh well, feel bad. That's why.
I always have this definitions for certain kinds of friends that people are like, why are you friends with them? It's like, it's already been too long. It would be too inconvenient not to be
Yeah.
friends anymore.
It's weird if I don't invite him. They'll hear
Yeah.
from someone else. I don't want
He'll
to have
show
that
up
conversation.
anyways.
Yeah. Ah, man. All right.
I said, hey, I said I like all the ships. I think it's overrated. Just because it spins, okay, sure.
Come on,
I
it's I can't even speak anymore.
I sang it praises when you put a number or
I know.
something.
Number three.
Number
No,
3.
I don't think it's overrated because I don't know if a lot of people really love it. I think they
So
just
a lot
love.
of people just remember the outrage when they changed the name.
Yeah, but I mean, outrage. I don't. I try
People
not
get out.
to.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. People get outrage over everything.
All right. Okay, it's not a conventional ship.
It's
kind
not a
of
TIE
weird.
fight. It's not a TIE fighter.
It's all right.
It's not a Naboo one starship.
It's not a. It's not a Y-wing. Wait. Oh wait,
You're
wait.
not alone. Oh, see, I love.
Come on, Dale. That's
Dale.
the heat. Dale was out on the sun.
Thank
It's
you, Dale.
affected him. You need to get hydrated. Doesn't know what he's talking about. All right,
White
white flag. You want okay?
You just
Thank
got
you,
an
Dale.
easy question for the trivia, Dale.
All right. So my number one most overrated, and this
Oh,
is over.
I thought you already had the. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
because I said the first one was my kind of. It didn't count. The
Ah,
TIE
okay,
Fighter
okay.
was just a
Okay.
rant because there's too many, and I needed three, but we're not counting that one.
Okay.
My most overrated ship, which I don't know why people love it so much, is the Y-wing. The Y-wing bomber to me is kind of the most whatever ship. I know it's put together. It doesn't have hatches for the. Come on, oh man, they always stop showing that. um, yeah, the Y-wing. I've never loved the Y-wing. I don't get the design. Talk about a stapler for slave one. This is a fork that's missing the middle prong.
Sorry,
It
Jonas.
doesn't have covers for the engines. It's come on, the Y-wing is so
I
overrated. Come on.
don't think it's overrated because I don't think people. Ken Knapsack loves that shit, but
I've seen so many people talk
Okay.
about the Y-wing.
okay. No,
And
I find it to be a frustrating ship. It's like the
that's a
ugly
good way
cousin
to
of
put it.
It's slow. But it has a purpose, just to drop bombs and move away. I
This-
I don't have much feelings about it. So you putting it, I was gonna put it in overrated actually, but I just thought not many people talk about it. So I was
Well,
like, okay, sure, whatever.
hopefully they forget about it after today. But yeah, so Y-wing and the N1 to me are the most overrated ships. All right, so Dale, you've been saying a little bit which ones you don't like. What's your favorite starship, Dale? I don't know if he hasn't put it on the comments. I want to know.
I want to know.
Yeah, and if there's anyone else out there. So while Dale kind of brings that up, let's go real quick to Rebel thoughts. When we hear from you guys, where's my? I haven't done this in a while. Here we go.
Well done. You're a rebel now.
You're a rebel now. And our friend Buck O'Brien at Highball 2814 said the Ghost. And the Ghost is one of those ships. I couldn't find a place for it.
No,
I really
no,
like it. It's not on my top three. It's not overrated. It's not underrated. So it didn't make the list, but the Ghost is another great ship.
If we did a top 10, it would probably be
Oh, yeah.
somewhere over there. So yeah, it's I totally agree. I couldn't find a place in the top 3. It's not underrated. It's not overrated. It's perfectly rated.
Perfectly rated. Yeah, if we did like a top 5 or top 10, a lot of those ships will like you. I almost put U-wing in my. If it was top 5, that U-wing would be there. But I think it's mostly underrated than
loves
being.
the Falcon.
All right, again,
It's the best.
it's the best. Again, it's right there.
The quarterback of everything.
It's like Tom Brady. Doesn't retire, is always there and always puts quality numbers. So
It's in the sense that people think he's garbage and some people love him.
yeah. If you don't have it, you hate it. But as soon as he comes in your team, it's the greatest thing ever. That's the Falcon. The garbage, it's trash. Oh, this is the greatest ship ever. Did the Kessel Run. Plus, it has L3 inside.
That it does.
All right. So I think that does it for our talk on Star Wars ship. Pretty. You got a little heated there at the end, but all in fun.
You got heated. I was perfectly relaxed.
Man, I'm glad I have my water here. I almost threw my computer out of the way. No, they'll calm me down.
The Ghost is cool. It's a cool show.
Yeah, like the TARDIS. Otis doesn't know the TARDIS.
I know what the TARDIS is. The TARDIS is. I've seen it inside. I've told you. I've tried to see Doctor Who.
I know. I won't bring it up anymore. Just watch it. If you want to watch it, watch it. If not, that's fine. What if it? Yeah, it's one like the Falcon. There's
it looks. I mean, the Falcon's a big ship, but every time we go inside, it's like Does all this fit in here?
Yeah. So that's what sometimes I like looking at those, and I have it's somewhere in there. They
The
have those,
cross-section?
the cutoffs, and it kind of tells you where everything is. It's here's the rooms or the bunk beds. I
Here's
think the
one layer.
Falcon is a little bit more comfortable than the Ghost.
Yeah.
They have those metal bunk beds where Ezra and Seb. No, that's not comfortable. I prefer the. I think Lando had a good design of
Oh
it.
yeah, like this room. And...
Yeah, great. All right, we gotta go to our next segment where we jump into some other fandoms, and it's A World Between Fandoms.
Dracarys.
A World Between Fandoms, so we kind of put Star Wars a little bit in the back burner for now and spend the next 10 to 20 minutes. I already added 5 minutes to the show, and we talk about other things in geek and nerd culture. And there's basically 3 big things going on right now. Oti, last week we'll start with She-Hulk. You hadn't watched it because you were waiting for a couple more episodes. You still are holding off?
Yeah, it's actually twerked or something. I'll catch it eventually.
All right. So, yes, that's a big controversy.
Oh, it's a controversy. Okay.
Oh, wait. You haven't been on Twitter recently?
I've had a long, hard week, as I told you.
Dude, so that's good for being away from the stupidity that is fandom
People
Twitter.
were angry of that.
So I watched it in the afternoon because She-Hulk, like I said before, I've been enjoying it, but I haven't been over the moon about it. And I still kind of feel the same way about this episode. And I'm feeling the parts that I really enjoyed about this episode was the one when she was in She-Hulk. When she was Jennifer Walters, she was great, and everything else that happened when she wasn't a She-Hulk, I enjoyed when she turned into She-Hulk. I said last week that the CGI was a lot better than in the trailers. I don't know, in this episode, and it's when she's wearing the suit, when she's in court, it just looks off. That CGI suit just doesn't work for me. Yeah, they'll only seen the first one, kind of sleep. It's a different type of MCU
I'll watch
show.
the show. I'll 100% watch it, but I'm not dying to see it.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's nothing to. Let's spend 30 minutes talking about it.
I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, it's great! It's a huge callback to those early 2000s," and I'm like, "Early 2000s TV was fine."
Yeah, the thing for me, if this was an actual like a lawyer courtroom show, that every episode was a new superhero that she had to defend or something, and each episode of the week kind of a case of the week. Oh yeah, that sounds great. It doesn't seem like, at least 3 episodes in, it doesn't sound like it.
I think I would not like that because I'm not a big fan of courtroom dramas or comedies or anything because, since I go to law school, I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
And I don't watch a lot of those. And my dad was a lawyer. He was a defense lawyer. So I lived through it. My aunt is a lawyer. Yeah, my dad was a criminal defense lawyer. So I've lived through that. I don't need it.
Every time I watch a movie that has a court scene and the lawyer starts screaming, I'm like, he's getting fined.
Yeah. But anyway, the controversy, because I saw someone posted on Twitter a video of her twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, oh man, I don't know what's this, because it looked weird as She-Hulk. But then someone kind of posted, oh, if this was Deadpool, everyone would be loving it. I'm like, you're right.
Sure.
I don't know. Everything that Deadpool did, people enjoy. But the only thing I said, I don't know the context. So I'm not going to talk kind of.
Oh, you haven't seen the episode? Or?
No, when I saw that clip, I haven't seen it. Dude, this is a post-credit scene.
Oh my god!
It has no bearing. It has no bearing on the episode.
Oh my god!
So that's even worse for people complaining about it.
I haven't even thought about it being deleted. Oh my! People are so ridiculous.
Because it's every episode has a post-credit scene. That's just a fun. Yeah, so it's a fun 10-second scenes in every episode. So and this was it. So it has nothing to do with the story. So it's even worse of a complaint.
Oh my god! Yeah. So it's definitely just there for fun. Oh my god!
Yes, because the Megan Thee Stallion, it's part of the episode.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of saw the promo one.
Yeah, and I'll say I didn't care that for the part that they mention her name every 5 seconds, they had to say Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, okay, we know that she's a famous person. You don't need to repeat the name every 2 seconds. That I didn't. Yeah, but the dancing, she's having fun. Just leave it. And also people saying, oh, it's not professional for a lawyer to be dancing on her office. You haven't seen any other courtroom show where they do a lot of worse things in their office?
I have a lot. Okay, I'm gonna be the lawyer here for She-Hulk. I have a lot of lawyer friends, and from what I know, accounting firms and law firms behave very similarly. If you saw the things I did in my office, like I'm doing pranks, I'm putting like fake rats on people's desks, like you clearly don't work at a professional office then, because we're normal people. We do funny things. Like
it's
sometimes I'm blasting heavy metal, and my boss will go around and be like, "Yeah."
All right, so that's it for She-Hulk. We don't need the episode. Was fine.
Stop
We got
being
enough.
ridiculous, people. Like, come on, have some fun.
We got Wong. Wong is always great. So I'm enjoying the show, but I'm not like, oh, I can't wait for next week.
Let's talk
We'll see
about
if we
things
get
that can't make us wait for next week.
One thing I can't wait for next week, it's Rings of Power. I don't know what were you gonna
I
mention?
thought we were gonna do House of the Dragon, bro.
All right.
No.
We're doing Rings of Power.
Yes, do it.
Yes,
do it.
Rings of Power. I just changed my Twitter name for the
I saw it.
for the, whatever you call this podcast. Now we're Rings of Rebellion for a little bit. I've been, for the past month, there's nothing else I've been talking about.
We were gonna say controversial things, by the way. Remember this?
All right. So before we get to our controversial things,
you go first.
all right.
I go first.
We'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
So we finally got Rings of Power. For the past week, the only thing I've been listening to has been the score that's been out there 2.5 hours, and they just released music specific for these 2 episodes. So I gotta check that out. Got the first episode on Thursday, and then the second one on Friday. Everything else drops on Friday, over like an hour and 5 minutes each episode. And I love Middle Earth. I'm a fantasy guy. I prefer fantasy to sci-fi. That's why Star Wars being a mix is kind of that important thing. Is always there. And then Lord of the Rings has been one of my favorite things ever. So now when we got these Rings of Power, which a lot of people have complained about what they're going to be talking about, and I don't know the whole history about it, but Amazon doesn't have the rights for the Lord of the Rings or for the Silmarillion.
I was reading about this.
Yeah. So they only had the rights for the appendices in Lord of the Rings, and that's what the show is about. But there's not a lot of information about the Second Age. Like Lord of the Rings is the Third Age, Silmarillion, I believe, is the First Age. This is the Second Age.
Yeah.
And then I think if whatever's on those appendices is mentioned somewhere else, then they can pull from those areas. So they don't have everything, just this little thing, and then they're going to expand into a lot of it.
Yes, that's kind of how I read it. Like they had to, even if you have the same events in some other book, you can't use that. You have to use what's in the appendices. And, I gotta say it, like Jeff Bezos, I'm not a big fan of his. Nobody is, but he loves Lord of the Rings apparently, and it shows. He's just shoving money right into it.
Well, supposedly 1 billion. I don't know if that's true or not. It's a really well-made show, as we'll talk about. I think it's gonna run for 5 seasons. They already have the whole story.
Oh, I didn't know this. I know that they spent a lot on the first season because they're going to use a lot of it going forward.
So I'm pretty sure I read about 2 or 3 weeks ago that when the big Vanity Fair article came out about a month ago, that it's going to be 5 seasons, that they have kind of the whole story. They know where they're going.
That's cool.
I mean, it has to end with the battle that we see at the beginning of the Fellowship. They're fighting against Sauron.
Yeah, the thing.
Yes, the thing. Let's call it the thing. When the Dark Lord gets his hand cut off and loses the One Ring, and Isildur takes it and doesn't drop it in the thing. All right, so we said it last week. Some confessions. You can start. So what's your confession about Lord of the Ring?
I actually got into Lord of the Rings fairly old. I saw Lord of the Rings in the theater, all of them, and my only memory of those movies is having to go pee like an hour in, and my cousins being like, "Oh, you can't go. Look at that scene." I'm like, I want to go. So
But they're just walking.
they're walking, and I'm tired of seeing mountains, and there's a talking tree. So I don't remember those movies fondly. I remember seeing each and every one in the theater, but I was not a big fan at all. And I told you, like, I told you the story. So we have this big party, and you can, attest to it. We have this big party in Puerto Rico called the Las Fiestas de San Sebastián. It's kind of like Mardi Gras.
But yeah.
And Old San Juan gets flooded with people. And a friend of mine, we were getting dressed to go there. And, everyone goes. Like, literally everyone goes. And I was right here in this room, and we were getting dressed, and I told him, like, you know what? I'm not that big a fan of Lord of the Rings. And he's like, oh my God, how can it be? Like, that's right up your alley. I'm like, yeah, I only saw them once in the theater. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I only saw them once. He's like, you have them on Blu-ray? And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to a party. He took the movies out and put Fellowship of the Ring, and we saw them for like until 4 a.m. or something. And so I got into it fairly old. And it was right around the time Battle of Five Armies was going to come out. So
okay.
I saw The Hobbit, and I'm a fan. I'm now a fan.
All right. Well, you told me this story when we were off air last week, so I'm not completely in shock right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind if people are not fans of it, because it is a long movie, especially even the regular version is almost 3 hours. But now you just have to watch the extended editions. And I'll give my story of how I got into Lord of the Rings in a minute. Well, my confession, just to say it out there, is I'm not sure if I'm ready to.
Now, you were a little bit more definitive last week.
I gotta sell it for the fans. No, I don't know. I see there are new people now joining the chat. I don't know if I like Star Wars more than Lord of the Rings, or if Lord of the Rings takes the cake.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm ready to accept that myself. I have Star Wars tattoo all over my body. I have all my collection is Star Wars. I got a few Funko Pops for Lord of the Rings. But if I sit down to analyze it and say which trilogy is the best, talking about the original trilogy and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I'm told, hey, you can only pick one to watch for the rest of your life, I might go Lord of the Rings. I know. I don't know if I can accept that at this point. But the needle is falling a little bit closer to Middle Earth than it is to Tatooine or something, to a galaxy far away. There's just something about being in that world that I'm just transformed. And I think the reason is, this is how I got into Lord of the Rings. I didn't know what the hell it was. When the movie was announced, I didn't know. I remember watching on yahoomovies.com, whenever that's where we got our movie news, from Yahoo.
Before IMDb.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is finally coming out with a picture of Frodo there. Freaking, I can't verify what's his name.
I'm blanking on it.
Anyway, he's there. And I just see Lord of the Rings, and I'm thinking about River Dance and Lord of the Dance. I don't know, what the hell is this that has all these big articles? I didn't know anything about it. And then I just go, oh, it's a book and whatever. Never read the book.
Elijah Wood.
Thank you. I was going to say it's Isaiah Wood. And I'm like, I know it's not that. It's Elijah Wood.
I was going to say Shia LaBeouf.
We almost have a... So anyway, when I saw the first trailer, and then I see the shot in the Shire when they run into Merry and Pippin and they're on the road, and this is that pull out. They have the whole forest, kind of that canopy, and it pulls out, and then the leaves kind of do that tumble toward Frodo. That's when I like, oh my goodness, what's this? Because I grew up playing all these role-playing games on the Sega Master System back in the 80s. Miracle Warriors, Wise, Phantasy Star, which is you got a human, an elf, a dwarf, and a wizard. So seeing that on screen, when I watched the Fellowship of the Rings and I walked out, I felt like I'm pretty sure, well, when people say that they felt when they walked out of A New Hope for the first time, That's how I felt. Like I didn't know this was possible, seeing something like this. And I think that's why I kind of find it difficult to say right now which way I would lean between Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. I do a Star Wars podcast, so that kind of maybe puts it a little bit. But now with Rings of Power, we'll see. So that's my
I
confession. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing them, but and at that time there was also like this discourse like you're either a Harry Potter fan or a Lord of the Rings fan, and why not both? And I was huge into Harry Potter. Like I learned how to read reading Harry
Mm.
Potter, so I was like, well, maybe Harry Potter is more for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those movies are just incredible. I want to read the books. I own them. I have like the illustrated edition they published recently, and I really want to get into it because it's a dense world.
I have it back there. You can probably down there it is. I'm looking at it right now. It took me
Okay.
2 tries. First time I started reading at my brother's house, 100 pages. I'm still in Bilbo's birthday. I'm like, no, I'll watch the movies. But then a friend of mine gave it to me because I covered for him on a weekend in Christmas at work, and he gave it to me. And then I just loved it.
And to end with the preamble, I want to know your position. How do you feel about the Hobbit movies?
I enjoy them.
Okay.
There was a point where I prefer the Lord of the Rings prequel, The Hobbit, to the Star Wars prequel. I think I'm on the other side now. I prefer the Star Wars prequels to the Hobbit trilogy, but I don't hate them.
Okay.
I take them for what they are. They shouldn't have been 3 movies. There are a lot, especially the book is.
I think they should have been two.
It was going to be 2. Guillermo del Toro was going to make them.
No,
Then,
it was gonna be like Hobbit and There and Back Again. I think.
yeah. And then it kept getting delayed, and he couldn't wait anymore. So he bounced. And then they brought Peter Jackson, who didn't have time to start from scratch. He had to go with all the pre-production stuff that Guillermo had done. So he was writing scenes as they're actually filming. So what he
Those
did to get it to the point that it is took a lot.
those behind the scenes are kind of painful to watch. Like
Yeah.
seeing Ian McKellen, like I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, he wanted to walk out. He wanted to get out of there. But give me Smog over all the dragons out there. I love the second one. I don't care that Benedict Cumberbatch was on the floor with the dots over his face pretending to be a dragon. I love
I
everything about
love that.
Yeah.
I will say I think The Hobbit is fine. Unexpected Journey. I really like Desolation of Smog, and I think Battle of Five Armies is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I probably will go Smog first, then The Hobbit, the first one, and Unexpected Journey, and then finish with Battle of Five Armies. Battle of Five Armies, I love the ending of it. Like the battle with Azog is great. Seeing a lot of the dwarves not make it kind of gives you that, oh, there's weight to it. It's not just a kid's one. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, it was pretty good. Because I knew it's not going to be Lord of the Rings. Take it as a, yeah, they're going to be jumping in barrels going down the river, whatever. It's funny. Just go with it. It's a movie.
Yeah.
All right, Rings of Power. We're supposed to talk about Rings of Power. So, Otto, you said you've only watched the first episode.
I did.
Did you enjoy it?
Life got in the way. I saw the first episode. I loved it. I really, really loved it. It felt like watching a Lord of the Rings movie. It starts with Galadriel narrating and seeing the world, all the mountains, saying, "Hey, we went to the place," and it had me. It really had me. I'm interested. I do think it didn't do a great job setting everything up. Because I like it when a pilot just like, this is what the show is. Like, of course, it's not going to tell you everything that's going to happen, but it's very clear, like, this is what the show is going to be. And I think this was a little bit more ambiguous. I think on Galadriel's side, definitely we know what her story is going to be. But the other characters, I was a little bit like, okay. But overall, I really liked it. As I told you, like, visually, it's stunning to watch.
Yeah,
and the
I love this premiere. You're in Middle Earth. The landscape, the music, the visual, everything works perfectly. Being able to put the musical score now with the visuals is even better. I love the intro, like you said, with Galadriel kind of narrating first as a younger elf in Valinor, and then we jump to the battle against Morgoth. I
That
love
was
first. I just love
awesome.
the names. I love hearing people that can actually speak Elvish, kind of say those names. And every time they say Morgoth and Valinor and all these things, I'm like, I love everything. And then
Yeah.
Sauron, seeing Sauron in
Seeing
that.
Sauron was great.
Oh man, just when is he coming? I know this is gonna be for the season 5 that we see him, but oh man, that was so awesome. And I think I agree that it didn't do the best job setting everything up. Like, for example, House of the Dragon, I think did a better job in that sense in the first episode. But I think it did enough to kind of start pushing the main story forward.
Yeah,
I've
definitely,
heard
definitely.
a couple of people say that they love the episodes and both episodes so far, but that they don't feel the magic that they felt coming out of the Fellowship 21 years ago.
I don't agree.
The only reason kind of agree, I think we're following a lot of stories right now.
Hmm.
We have Galadriel, we have Elrond doing his thing, we have the Harfoots with the Stranger. We have a lot of things going on right now, so we're jumping. And in Lord of the Rings, we jumped, but it was usually like 3 stories, but they all were kind of pointing to the same place. Right now, we don't know, like you said, what's going on. Galadriel has her mission. What are all these other people?
And with Lord of the Rings, like you get all the characters, they get together, then they split up. But
Yeah.
you know how they're interconnected. Here is a little bit messier.
Yeah, plus they're all going to the same place.
Yeah.
The main issue is destroying Sauron. We got to get the ring to Mordor. So even though everyone's doing their own thing, that's the main goal. Here, like you said, we still don't know what everyone else is doing. But I enjoy that they gave us a lot of the main characters already. And we kind of start seeing what their story is. But my reasoning for some, maybe again, I don't know the reason for some people not feeling that magic. Lord of the Rings, we were basically following. Why do we love Luke Skywalker? Because he was the farm boy that wanted more out of his life and save the universe. Why do we like all these characters that are not Jedi, are not Sith? Why do we like Cassian Andor? Because he's a regular human being that's going above to do the good thing. That's the Hobbits. The Hobbits have, same as the Ewoks and all that. The Hobbits have no place in this war, but we connect to them because that's us, and that's what we love and went in that journey. Here we're following established warriors already halfway on their journey, so I think that's why we don't connect as quickly as we did with Lord of the Rings. For some people, oh, I don't feel that magic. But yeah, these people already they know what they're doing.
Yeah, because it's new, but it's also Galadriel and it's also Elrond. So,
Yeah.
and even to a little bit different degree, it's also Celebrimbor. And so, I do get that.
Yeah. All right, so we've spent a little bit of time already, and we haven't talked too much about Rings of Power. But so give me your top 3 or 3 things that you enjoyed about that first episode.
I love the prologue. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that she was gonna say Middle Earth, but the middle we moved to Middle Earth. I'm like,
Yeah. I love the maps. I love that they show you.
Oh yes, I love that. Give me a good map. We'll talk about maps pretty soon. But I love that. I love Elrond writing poetry. I mean, like bones. And I love Galadriel. I love Kate Blanchett, so I knew I was gonna love her now. So yeah. She's cool. I'm a sucker for like a Moby Dick kind of story that she just can't let it go, and she has to go back even when she has the chance to get what she does say. I want to go home, but she can't. She has to go back, and we know she has to go back because she's there later on.
She'll be there 3,000 years from now. She'll be there.
Yeah. So I think those are some of my main things.
So you mentioned Elrond, you mentioned Galadriel. I love Elrond in general, but I love his relationship with Galadriel. Because I love that he just says it. What are you gonna do if this is not what's going on? You're gonna keep going. How many people are you gonna let die to have them statues built for them? There's a point you have to let go. So I love that someone pushed
that moment. He
Yeah.
goes like, "How many more statues?"
So I love Elrond, and when he's writing this poetry, and you don't know what the hell it's for, and it's for the king, so it's the speech writer for the king
Yeah.
for Gil-galad. I love Elrond, and I know you haven't watched the second episode, but we get Durin. We go to Khazad Dûm. Elrond's relationship with Durin and with Disa, heart,
Okay.
love it. So I love Elrond and the relationship he's already establishing with these characters. Arondir. I'm not just saying it because it's played by a Puerto Rican actor, Ismael Cruz Cordova,
He's
which
very
also had
endearing.
he played Quinn in Mando season 1. I love Arondir, and I love his relationship with Browen, and I love the musical theme. I loved it when I heard it on the score. To me, it's their version of Across the Stars. He has a presence as an elf that's just intoxicating. So I love everything that he's doing so far.
I love that speech. I've said it in every way but words. I'm like, you're a poet.
Oh man, yes, and you're like, just say the words. I know what you mean, but say it. And then,
And acting that moment when they get told we're going home, he's like,
yeah,
there's a lady.
and then the third one, I'm not gonna say how I had it written down because it's for the second episode, but it's something that is alluded to when Elrond is talking to Celebrimbor. They're brought together. I mean, they're brought together at the end
to
of the
do
first.
something for a project. Well, I
Yes.
don't know what the project is.
No, but the project is something else. But what that project is going to be used for, so that alluding to like, okay, here we go. So those are my top 3. I had the intro, like you said, Morgoth, Sauron. We all the main characters, the music, the lands. Man, this is for second episode. There's something that happens on the second episode that reminded me of Shadows of the Sith, and I'll leave it there.
What? Sorry.
So there's something that happens on the second episode at the end that reminded me of Shadows of the Sith.
Oh, okay.
So that I'm like, oh yes, give me that weird fantasy magical element. Okay. Was there anything that you didn't enjoy? You kind of said that you don't know where the
but that's more of a nitpick. I was very happy watching it. Like when it ended, I wanted to watch the next one, but it was really late. I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep watching it. So I just went to bed, and this morning life got in the way.
Yeah. So same thing. There's not one thing I can point to. Just I kind of mentioned there's maybe too many stories going on at the same time that we don't know how they're going to connect. That's the only thing, just to have something. Second episode, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Kind of prefer the first one a little bit more, but we get more with Arondir, with Browen. Like I said, we go to Khazad Dûm, Durin. Again, Durin and Elrond are great. And more with Celebrimbor. We hear about the Silmarils, and there's a lot of backstory that if you know some of the lore, you kind of, I kind of know a little bit what's going on. Rings of Power, dude. I can't wait. Next Friday can come soon. Man, I loved it. Yeah. All right, so let's finish up talking about the other big fantasy show out there. Please don't compare them. They're very different.
They're very different.
Very different. So take that as.
I understand the urge to do so, but let's be honest. House of the Dragon, Lord, Game of Thrones, they're more like political thrillers. They're not about this fantasy story about like it kind of feels about our world more than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so House of the Dragons has a lot of dragons that came into play this week. But before we jump in, we talked about the intro in Rings of Power. Dude, seeing the eagles fighting the fell beasts, oh my goodness. Yes. That was something. Yes. House of the Dragons, second episode dropped last Sunday. In less than 24 hours, we'll get the next one, or in about 26 hours. It drops at 9 p.m. Still enjoying it? Pretty good second episode, right?
It was a great second episode. It reminds me a lot of those first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, which I think are just perfect. It was a great episode. I was telling a friend, like, it's not action packed. It's very much Game of Thrones. A lot of people talking. I think there's a lot of scenes in these first episodes that as the show moves on and we get some resolution to some things, we'll go back and be like, oh, that scene. So I'm very excited from what we've gotten so far. And dude, talk about intros. Hearing that theme again, I felt like I was watching a Star Wars movie. I got happy. I was like, and
So,
yeah.
speaking, we talked when we did She-Hulk, talking about controversy. There was a little bit of controversy about people saying, "Oh, really? They rehashed the intro? They're lazy." I'm guessing you're not in that camp.
No, I'm gonna steal this from Alden Diaz, but he mentioned something like it's like playing Empire Strikes Back and being like, well, that's lazy. Like, yeah, it's the same world. It's part of the same story. But I had no issue with it whatsoever.
I had a little bit in that I
Really?
thought, just because I thought we were getting something new.
Okay.
So we didn't get anything in the first one. Then, we're finally getting a title intro. Here we go. And it's the same one. Okay, still great.
I liked not having one in the first episode because the first episode, if you really think about it, feels like a prologue to the whole story. Because even here, we got a time jump. Like, we're not continuing where we kind of are, but a couple months later. So I kind of like it not having in the first one. But
So I'll tell you about comparing this and Rings of Power. Same thing happens in Rings of Power episode 2. We get an intro, which if I have to pick an intro, I prefer the House of the Dragons one, I'll say.
I just love it. Felt very Targaryen, seeing the blood, the fire and blood, and all Valyria, and I really loved it. I'm loving the show, and Matt Smith, man.
So give me your three. Give me your top three things that you enjoyed.
Matt Smith throwing the egg at Rhaenyra. I love him because I know where his story's gonna go. So the show's doing a great job telling you he's the antagonist, but you can't hate him. And the whole thing, like, I'm having a son. No, you're not. It's my wedding day. There's no wedding. So
I have it here. Number 1, Damon being nuts. Like you said, yeah, you can hate the guy. And Matt Smith is a great actor. He's eating this role. Every time he's on screen, I want more of him.
And when Corlys is talking bad about Viserys, he's like, I say whatever I want about my brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I love everything because it's almost like when Rhaenyra gets there. Is my other point. It's just Rhaenyra growing into her own when she tells everyone, "Well, we have dragons. Why don't we just take dragons over there and shut everyone up?" I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
No, we gotta be shut up. And then
I'm getting that egg back.
And she saves everyone without the bloodshed. But again, I just said I love people talking Elvish. I love Daemon and Rhaenyra speaking in old Valyria. And you see that there's still that love there. Yeah, they're competing for the throne, but there's something.
Yeah, no,
still there.
the Targaryens, they protect each other, and she says it like, if you want to be king, kill me, end it right here. And he's like, just throw you the egg.
Yeah. But then they're gonna have the fight, and then what is this? I wrote it down. Where's Caraxes? His dragon just shows up. Really? You're gonna have a fight? Look who's backing me up. But then you have, what is it, Cyrax or something?
Yeah.
She could do. Oh man, love all that.
Which, by the way, he stole the dragon too.
I didn't know that.
He wasn't supposed to take it. They mention it when they.
Oh yeah. Oh man, but yeah,
it's him. He wasn't supposed to take it.
So yeah, I love everything about Daemon. I love Rhaenyra growing to her own and going to Dragonstone to kind of do it. The other thing I love, okay, we gotta go to Dragonstone. Okay, we're there. In Game of Thrones, it would take 5 episodes to get there. So I love that we're there already.
But you know what? I checked the map. Dragonstone and King's Landing are right next to each other. So now I think about it, I'm like, Daenerys was hiding there. And they could have just like gone there.
Just going around the corner.
I don't know.
All right. Anything else you loved about this episode?
I love the conversation of Rhaenyra and Viserys in the table. He does say, like, I'd rather go into combat than talk with my 15-year-old daughter. And the conversation of Rhaenyra and Rhaenyra and Rhaenys Targaryen, her aunt, something. That was awesome. And she's like, "Oh, they rejected a women queen before," and she's like, "No, they rejected you."
Yeah, I'm on her side. I'm like, "Dude, old woman, don't be bitter that you didn't get picked to be queen. Okay, just shut up. You're selling your daughter." And that's where I go to points that I didn't like. we talked last week. Oh, is Mon Mothma gonna be married at 16? That's weird. Hey, you wanna marry my 12-year-old daughter? Oh, don't worry, you don't have to have relations till she's 14. I'm like, dude, no.
It's I get it. It's problematic, but I really like Viserys being like, "This is weird."
But then he went with Alicent, which was what, 14? It's like,
Yeah.
it's still weird.
But there's gonna be a time coming we're gonna see her get older, at least.
No one. Anyway, it was. I could have done without because the poor actress looks like 8.
No, she's extremely young, but I do think the show portrayed it as it is, as extremely uncomfortable.
Yes.
That scene with them walk, it was horrific.
Oh man, it was bad.
And you see he's not comfortable with this. He's not.
I'll say I was on Viserys' case last week saying I don't like this actor. He kind of pulling me out. And
he's good.
Warming up. He did a better job this week, and I'm kind of. And when he gets angry, like, oh, get my drag or get some boats, I'm going to get my egg bag. Like, okay, here we go. Get angry.
I just want to say, like, I'm terrified for him because he's a little bit Ned Stark, and we know what happens to men, like, noble men. They don't last long.
Yeah. All right.
That finger.
Yeah, so I'm very interested for tomorrow's episode. I knew from the first episode that the Hand of the King was throwing his daughter to him. Was really obvious.
Go get that dress.
Yeah. So
I still don't have a read on him. I want to know what he wants.
I liked him at the beginning of the first episode, but the more it goes, I'm like, dude, oh hands, you're like Littlefinger. I don't like you. You're slimy.
And this is my last thought, but one of the things I love the most is seeing how different things work. Like in Game of Thrones, the king is just an actor, basically, just someone to sit there, and the Hand of the King is doing everything. This doesn't seem to be the case here, but it kind of seems to be what Otto wants. He wants to be like the one with the influence, manipulating the king, and he's kind of doing it. And I think he's taking advantage of the kind of person Viserys is.
Yeah, and now with Alicent being queen, it's like he has an extra kind of incentive there. Yeah. But all in all, season is going great. Very excited for the next episode. Stay for Rings of Power. Can't believe that we're in a 5-day or 6-day time span. We get both of these shows. Plus, we have Andor in a couple of weeks. Hoping She-Hulk kind of picks up a little bit for my taste. But apart from that, everything else in fun. And in D23, there's some rumors out there of actors that are gonna sign with the MCU.
Not gonna expect anything.
No, I don't. But if that gets announced, it's like, MCU's gonna. Anyway, so next week we'll break down whatever happens or doesn't happen in Disney Plus Day. D23 will be going on. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No idea when they're gonna do Star Wars, if they even talk about Star Wars. Hopefully before 5 p.m. on Saturday, and we can talk about it. Yeah. All right, Oti. Anything else before we sign out?
Everything's down below in the descriptions. I'm Oti. I'm always here, and just follow me whatever it says.
He's there. We tried kicking him out. We can't anymore. We'll be here next week as always, guys. Thanks for joining us. Oti's gone. He's back. Get used to it. We'll be here next week. And then the week afterwards is the big original sequel trilogy trivia challenge, where we will have our final finalists before a big main Star Wars trivia. So make sure to tune in for that one. See us next week. Everyone have a good weekend, good holiday weekend. Be careful out there as you travel also. But stay safe. Be safe. Watch Rings of Power. Watch everything. Star Wars. May the Force be with you.